And we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Carnivore Evolution podcast. Victoria, how are you?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you. How
Good
are you?
stuff. We have a guest on today, Chris Carnivore. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well.
How are you keeping?
Um, just doing great. The schedule's been a little busy. I trained later last night. I was actually coaching a carnivore friend. Uh,
Really?
Nice.
yeah.
Good.
Yes. And so I wound up eating a little late. And I stayed up a little bit late to kind of post a couple things, or at least one thing on my Instagram, which is that's my screen name there. And so I got up a little bit later this morning than I normally do, but I'm doing great.
Amazing. Well, I like your t-shirt. That's a good start. So let's talk everything carnivore shortly. But give me a little backstory on you. How did you actually get into this space? How did you actually before you actually started getting into carnivore? What did you do before this? Like, how did you struggle? Like talking about your struggles with health. Were you overweight? Like, let's go back, say 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, 20. I was telling Victoria before we came on that I had always been athletic. I was a collegiate fencer on a very good team. I eventually had some lower classmen that went to the '96 Olympics. I was always a bench warmer, but I was uh, competing with top athletes from around the country. And back then, the nutritional guidance, which was not that strong, was pushing carb loading, carb based, all that. And so, unfortunately, I kind of followed that. And they kind of scared us away from red meat, and which I always loved. And I geared a little bit more towards, leaner meats, chicken, that kind of thing. So fast forward into my 20s when I started working and was a little less active, I started to just not feel as well, and even a little bit in college too. And the more I kind of got away from meat, that I never went vegetarian or anything, but scale back the red meat, a little more chicken, and it just seemed to decline. In my mid to late 20s, I discovered a blood type diet through Dr. Peter J. Diadamo in Connecticut, a naturopathic physician. Actually, at the when he wrote a book, Eat Right, the number 4, your type. I tried that because I was a type O, uh, which was the meat eater and kind of the hunter gatherer, high high energy, more of the strength as opposed to calmness as far as working out, strength based, which fit with my previous competition, and that helped, but it was unsustainable, and I fell off of that diet. I wound up I did pretty much go gluten free at that point. Number of years later, decade goes by, and things are just getting worse and worse and worse. I did get back to the kind of the eat right for your blood type a little bit, loosely, not as well. And I started having more carb cravings. I mean, I used to make a great meatloaf, but I liked a lot of mashed potatoes with it. So fast forward to 2022, and that's where my health really was declining. Um, I had I had a regular doctor, uh, but also through work they would do proactive healthcare where they would bring an RV around, and they would give you a physical. They would do sonograms, uh, EKGs, things like that. They had all those techniques and various and blood tests, which came back later, and basically everything over the years declined. So in 2022, throughout the year, I got desperate. Probably in the spring or summer, I really got to the point where my appetite became insatiable, and I was trying to eat right at that time. I was I had pretty much a standard sandwich every day of grilled chicken, um, mayonnaise, which I loved, um, lots of greens. I used the mixed greens because I didn't just want, lettuce that was iceberg lettuce that was had no nutrients, and we always heard that spinach was good for you. So I would either get the 50-50 mix, or I would buy in bulk the spring mix and then spinach separately and load it up and make a fat, salad on top of my grilled chicken sandwich with some hot sauce. And I had sweet potato chips, which, well, sweet potatoes are better than regular potatoes. And, the nightshades and regular potatoes, sweet potatoes are better. Of course, they were all fried in seed oils. The mayonnaise was seed oils. Um, and over time, I noticed that this this bag of chips um, was lasting less and less per lunch. I broke it up initially into, 3 servings, and I would bring it in a Ziploc. Eventually, I realized that, well, 3 isn't enough. I'm going through about half the bag. I'll just bring the bag to work. Then I was getting 2 days out of it. Then eventually, I was getting 1 day out of it. Then one bag wasn't enough, and that was pretty much the my breaking point in November of 22. Everything was collapsing. Um, I I had sleep apnea, chronic severe OSA for years, and I had been on a CPAP um, since 2020. I was pre-diabetic. Let me go through my my list here. My number one reason for changing what I did was pain. I was in extreme pain, which was inflammation, but just chronic pain. I had 30 different pain creams. I was using ibuprofen almost every day. I was a big craft beer guy, and I was self-medicating. Not proud to say, I wasn't drinking and driving, but I'd come home from work. I'd be in extreme pain. I'd eat, then, have some really nice, couple strong beers and the ibuprofen, and um, you kind of know where I'm going at with that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I had Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, joint pain pretty much everywhere. My good knee was hurting more than my bad knee. I had blown a knee out playing pickup football. I never had surgery or anything. I discovered arthritis in my right index finger knuckle. Um, I was pre-diabetic, fatty liver disease, elevated blood pressure. Also, I mean, fatigue like you wouldn't believe. Seborrheic dermatitis. It was
Oh,
really bad on my scalp back when I had hair, and as I lost my hair, which probably contributed to that. Um, my testosterone was tanked in the U.S. units. It was 262. The brain fog, chronic stress, pretty much all the things that so many people uh, have experienced. So in November of 2022, um, there was a work conference, an annual conference that was 3 days, and I didn't want to go to it. I was not in a good place mentally. Was in a pretty dark place. Another aspect of health.
Yeah.
And I did go to it. I was petrified it was going to have a severe wardrobe malfunction. Like there were formal dinners involved with this. Um, I only have one suit. I was afraid I was going to split my pants. I had gained an enormous amount of weight as well over the years. I was the heaviest I ever was. And I had this insatiable appetite, and I knew something was severely wrong. I was scared. Maybe I had cancer. I didn't know what to think. And I knew I needed to change something. Um, and I can't remember if it was right before or right after that conference, and that I decided to change. I went to that conference. It it didn't go well. There's a lot of social aspect to it, um, especially afterwards at the bar, and I overdid it, and I kind of paid for it the next day. And after that, I really needed to change something. Um, so, like I said, I can't remember if I started looking at it before I went, but I started delving into the ketogenic diets, the research papers, all sorts of things. Learned about how they used it to treat epilepsy 100 years ago, and I was watching Dr. Ken Berry's videos. I really liked the way he approached things. It was very comfortable for me. And I was watching these videos, and I began keto, and kept watching in the YouTube, and the algorithm would keep popping his videos up. So eventually, I didn't realize I was watching his older videos from maybe 2018, 2019,
Yeah.
talking about keto.
Hmm.
And then I had my epiphany when I saw his first carnivore video.
Yeah. It was about 2019 he did that. Yeah.
Um, and I think it was a more recent video that I had seen. It was probably, within earlier in 22. It was one of the, I can't even find it now or remember what it was. But I say Dr. Berry saved my life, because that was the game changer. I was a month into keto. I was fat adapted. And then as quickly as I could, I transitioned. I discovered, all the other, carnivore doctors, Dr. Anthony Chafee, who I will talk about later, who I do assist in a limited way now.
Really?
With him, I really found him to be a great man. Dr. Baker, and you name it, all of everybody was part of Bella's group. Um, that helped me. Um, so anyway, I transitioned from keto to ketovore to carnivore over that span of kind of a month or two. I was mostly, I say my carniversary is right around Christmas of 22 when I started.
Hmm.
I started keto somewhere around before Thanksgiving, or around there, and I was fat adapted definitely by that time, and so I started cleaning some of the keto junk out. Um, I basically the only thing I kept in that was non-carnivore was, well, coffee, which I still do have, and I had macadamia nuts in there for till the spring of um, uh, 23. You know, 3 or 4 months, just to keep my fat intake up, and pretty much just meat and eggs. I was eating burgers with fried eggs on them, steak 3 times a week, burgers usually 4 times a week, cheeseburger once a week as a treat. But I stayed with that, and I just from that period from November, December 22 all the way probably close to 6 months was just
Mm.
healing and going down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And I was high fat carnivore. Um, Definitely lots of Kerrygold. And just ground or minced beef patties and very simple with the treat with steak. And my body healed over time like you wouldn't believe. It took time. I was still in extreme pain for a while, but it gradually lessened. The darkness that was around me eventually began to lift. I had a new outlook on life. Um, I like I said, I participated with a little bit in Bella's group, and I was drawn to Dr. Anthony Chafee, and uh, especially it became my support group to be on the chat with his live premieres
Mhm.
and his live Q&As.
Mm,
And because I had learned a lot over time, I would just participate and share my experiences and
mm,
little things that I learned and tips and all these chronic diseases and afflictions I mentioned, they're either completely resolved or close to or 99.9% resolved.
mm.
Um,
Amazing, amazing.
It's
I,
wonderful.
as a side effect, I lost, and I say side effect because it was all these um, just terrible diseases, self-inflicted. As a side effect, I lost not 25 pounds, but 25% of my body weight. And I
Mm,
talk about that with people. And I try to, I'll say that's if someone's 300 pounds, that's going to two and a quarter.
mm,
Or if you're 240 going to 180 or
mm,
200 going to 150. I went from 174 to 129, which was my college. I was 130 during my college competition weight. I'm a small frame male, barely 5'7", and so 130 pounds was my competition weight, eating and training. So I had, as a side effect, reached kind of a, I don't want to say optimal body weight, but what I was when I was 21, 22 years old. Um, so during my journey, as I mentioned, I really bonded with Dr. Chafee, and I spent a lot of time on those chats, and I really enjoyed that, sharing my experiences. I learned a lot, and people were starting to learn from me, and I was consistently on there and dedicated to it. So this past year, uh, Melissa, um, aka Copper's Kitchen on um, as her screen name on YouTube, was Dr. Chafee's head moderator, and she donned me the privilege of becoming a moderator, and I embraced
Wow. Excellent.
mm,
it. I love that. I love being a part of that.
mm,
And later, uh, towards 25, um, I'm thinking it was beginning of November. Um, she reached out to me and asked me if I might be willing to help with a new project of his, which I agreed to, is his 90-day carnivore challenge.
Mhm.
So I'm part of that group too. Um, I'm trying to help out with the live chats and questions here, there. It's, I don't have quite the time I'd like to devote to it, but I'm trying to be as involved as I can with that. And, I hope I'm making a difference. You see the shirt I have, I wear that when I go shopping to quietly engage
Mm,
receptive people, and sometimes I do.
mm,
Um, I wear these shirts in almost every video I record with my Instagram, which is kind of my new initiative. Uh, because, like I said, I went from dying to thriving. I've really pretty much optimized everything. I no longer use the CPAP for, I don't know, well over a year. I wound up waking up 3 nights in a row where it felt like it was hindering my breathing. Woke me up in the middle of the night, ripped the
Yeah.
mask off. Happened the first night, did it. Happened again the second night. Happened again the third night. After I took it off the third night, never went back.
Wow. Good for you.
Um,
Excellent.
my, my fatty liver was gone in 10 months from
Wow.
the chronograms. My blood pressure came down. It stabilized. No longer pre-diabetic. Although, as you probably both know, the A1C on carnivores tend to be just a tad higher, roughly about 0.3 higher, because
Mhm.
our red blood cells live longer.
mm,
Yes.
So I think I'm at 5.4 right now.
mm,
Was the last test.
Good.
I
Mhm.
did have an exam in January. I didn't get the results back yet. I have to bug them for that. Um,
mm,
uh, and this is going back probably, let me see, when was that? Those labs were done probably December of 24. Um, I more than doubled my testosterone.
Wow.
110%, went from 262 to 552
mm, mm,
in US units, which is probably testosterone of a 30 to 35-year-old.
mm,
So
Wow.
I'm
Fabulous.
I'm trying to get that, you know, build that. Um, I'm training regularly now. I had started in early, well, here and there. Had done a little sprinting, but then I aggravated uh, the Achilles tendonitis, so I laid off of that for a while. But then I started strength training, doing body weight um, last year around December, January of 24 to 25. There was we had an illness in the family, which took up a lot of time, and I fell off of training and my eating, and I actually lost a little bit of weight in March and April. So I fell off track, but over the summer, I discovered calisthenics on YouTube. I didn't really truly know what it was, and I fell in love with it. So I started training probably late October, November, and I'm all in on that. And that's what my Instagram is about, trying to um, get the carnivore and the calisthenics communities to come together,
mm,
because I went from not being able to move to now I can't stop from moving. I am so
Wow.
motivated to train. I am so motivated to help others and encourage others in carnivore, and to get moving and build lean muscle, build functional muscle.
mm,
And that's why I gravitated towards calisthenics, because it's not just strength training, it is specific to functional muscle. Because, as Dr. Chafee says, our, and many others say, our biological lifespan is 120 years. If I didn't mess it up so badly, well, maybe I'll only make it to 110, but I want to be, I'm thriving now. I want
mm,
it, I'm going up, and I'm going to continue to go up. I even when I had hair, I noticed I used to have a goatee that the hair started turning brown again from gray.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
That'll happen.
the whole mental outlook, like age spots are gone. I am so into the ancestral thing. I am not afraid of the sun anymore. I don't burn
Yes.
anymore. I'm
Mm.
heat
Me neither.
tolerant.
Yep.
I'm cold tolerant. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I embrace challenges. I have the carnivores in. I am so calm. You know, I deal with a lot of,
Yes.
I'm a manager at work, and we deal with a lot of sometimes very difficult things. And people don't understand how calm I am and how I can deal with things. My perception is spot on. I'm way ahead. I was never quick-witted, but now I am. Um, I feel like I'm 3 steps ahead of everyone.
Yes, it's
Um,
wonderful. I love it. I love the carnivore results. It's fabulous.
it's you can't truly appreciate it until you're there.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
my friend that I've been coaching for well over a year, and I was coaching a family member also too, but that person got them started, and they're kind of doing their own thing, but they're over a year in. That was after uh, an experience that I'm not really ready to talk about but
Mm.
basically I had seen a lot of family members declining, and I reached out to one of them, and
Mm.
they were receptive. Um, but this other friend that I talk to almost on a daily basis has come a long way as well. And I think he was drawn to me because he had plantar fasciitis for years, and it's gone.
Mm.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, that's so
Yeah,
that's great, Johnny.
so there's a few questions I want to go back to. I want to go first of all, I want to go back to your calisthenics because I think this is important because I actually implement this myself. And when we see of all these amazing technologies that we have out there with the gyms and everybody's confused on what to do, I always say to people, you need to go back to your ancestral living. Like what were
Yeah.
we doing, like say over 1,000,000 years ago? People were going out chopping woods, they were going out hunting their own animals. If they were in that survival situation where they were hanging off a cliff, they'd have to pull themselves up. So I'm always saying to people, like, listen, you can go into a gym and do a pull down and a lat pull down. But if you can't pull yourself up, you're going to struggle. If you can go into the gym and do a chest press, but you can't do a press up, you know what I mean? There's a problem there. So I'm always saying to people before you actually, because people always ask me like, what do you recommend? Do you recommend I should go to a gym? And I'm like, no, you can get a very very good workout done at home, an unbelievable workout at home. And if you're looking, depending on what your goal is, if your goal is to lose weight, you should be focusing on the three main things, in my opinion: regular movement, eat properly, and just add in some sort of aggressive overload every week, whether that's body weight training, whether that's strength training, any type of training. Just add it in there as long as you're building muscle, because we can all agree that as we get older, the one thing you want to be holding on to, and it's going to be the key to longevity, is going to be muscle mass. And we're seeing that at the moment with a lot of old people that they're moving away from this. And you can see the decline. They're losing their memory. They're losing their muscle mass, and it's very very hard to see. And it pains me to see people at that age running around killing themselves, literally killing themselves, and they're underfeeding themselves as well, and they're nutrient deficient as well. It's really really bad. Because I've had these conversations with these people. They're absolutely terrified when they hear the word cholesterol. Terrified.
Yeah.
And it's very very, it's just extremely, it's just, yeah, it's just like I love the way you mentioned, Chris, you want to live until 110 and you want to like thrive, like you want to get better, because this is what we should be doing. We shouldn't be fearing as we get older anymore now. We should be thinking that, okay, I'm looking forward to my 60s. I'm looking forward to my 70s. I'm looking forward to what I can do when I get to my 80s and 90s, instead of having that fear, if that makes sense.
100%. I exactly what you said. I I want to be like Fit Old Boy. Are you familiar with Fit Old Boy,
Mm,
the
mm,
No,
Polish
tell us.
gentleman?
mm. Yeah,
He's a Polish gentleman. So Mark, you're familiar with him. That's what I want to be doing when I'm his age. I'm not there
absolutely.
yet. He's
Yeah,
kicking my butt.
yeah.
But um
But you look at the likes of Sean Baker. Look at this guy. Hey, this guy is 60 years of age.
yep.
The guy is built like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
He's built like a machine. Like, I mean, there's other people in the carnivore space. You look at Ken Berry, he looks amazing for his age. Look at Dr. Shafee, he looks amazing for his age. Like, it's just, it's unbelievable. There's people out there that are younger than these people, and they look horrendous.
That's what
They
I'm
look,
striving
Yeah,
for. And that's why I try to post almost every day. I try to post most of my workouts. I've been inspired by so many people. I'm trying to inspire people,
mm,
and I just I'm driven.
mm,
I set it up so I uh what's working for me now is I train hard. A
mm,
good hour, sometimes a little more workout. Um, I do my philosophy, and I've learned this from some of the calisthenics people and some of the exercise science I've studied back in the day. I usually go 5 minutes, at least 4 minutes between sets. Generally train to failure, um, and I use 2 rest days between, and those are my refeed days. If you
very
look at
important. Great.
IG, and
mm,
then I hit it hard again, so it's roughly, you know, 3 times over the week, or it's
mm,
maybe 8 days or whatever. So that's what I train. That's what's working. I've already added into weighted dips.
mm,
My push is stronger than my pull. So I'm really trying to build technique. I was very big on that.
mm,
With the sports I've played, I also grew up playing golf, which is very technique driven, but between golf and fencing. Um, so I'm pretty much a do-it-yourselfer. I've had a lot of calisthenics coaches reach out to me. Another one that was following up this morning. I'm not ready to do that yet because I'm so involved with all the things I mentioned to you. Work keeps me really busy. I'm a call 24/7 for what I
mm,
do. Family keeps me busy. Coaching my friend, helping Dr. Chafee as when I can. And I love what I do. I love what I do for work. I am it, it's light years from where I was in
mm,
22. I never, ever dreamed I would be doing what I was doing, what I'm doing now, because that's why I say I went from dying to thriving. I I like I said, I was a do-it-yourselfer. I have uh, my vehicle is it's a very large truck-based SUV, uh, like a pickup truck with heavy leaf springs in the front. I had replaced those prior to being carnivore, in the summer, and I I thought it almost killed me. These
mm,
springs are probably 100 pounds a piece. I
mm,
had this jacked up in my driveway. Um, and I needed eventually to do the back springs because I have this vehicle a long time. I really like it. I have 302,000 miles on it, so I had like 200 and
Wow.
something at the time. And I couldn't do the back ones. I had to have a friend, a mechanic, do it for me because I was just shocked. Um, I I embrace every challenge. Challenges at work. I find the workarounds.
mm,
Physically, mentally. I almost got run over by a car in the Costco parking lot, and I had a shopping cart with me, and just in the corner of my eye, just I just have cat-like reflexes, which saved me from having the front of the shopping cart like hit me in probably the handle would have knocked my teeth out, probably put me in an ambulance.
Mm.
Just barely scraped the mirror on the car.
Wow.
This guy, he just basically launched his car out of a parking space, cut the wheel right at me, clueless. I got out of the way. I never would have been able to do that.
Yeah, your reaction time would have been a bit slower.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just it was, you know, probably half of what it would have been, or
Wow.
or a quarter of what it would have been. I would have been I would have gone away in an ambulance, you know.
Wow.
And so I'm so blessed. I
Yeah.
am so blessed and grateful. Gratitude, you know. Dr. Ana Rosa talks about gratitude.
Mm.
I bonded with her a lot. Just I don't know her that well, but I you know I just discovered her fairly recently
Mm.
and follow a lot of her, you know.
I
It's
interviewed Anna twice. She has her documentary coming out very soon. Very, very intelligent woman.
yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. Victoria, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, I do. I'd like to go back a little bit, Chris, to where you transitioned from keto to carnivore. And I've had a similar experience. I did that too, 3 years of keto and then into carnivore. Can you tell us if you felt a distinction between the keto benefits that you experienced and the carnivore benefits? Was there a difference? I know you're full-fledged carnivore, but please tell us about the transition time and the differences in, let's say, the healing that you experienced.
It's tough to say because it was such a short transition, because I went all in. It was roughly a month, and I think I was just
Okay.
I was just beyond fat adapted, and I was still really in a lot of pain. That pain did not subsisted for several months. That So I was keto from basically, you know, the end of no middle to end of November till the end of December. And I remember distinctly, even after being carnivore for a month or two, thinking, when is this pain going to let up? I was in that bad of shape. So I can't, I went all in on carnivore, and,
Mm.
you know, it was a very quick transition. I did.
I I have a quick question, as Chris. We go back to when you were in desperate needs. Like, what was the advice you were getting from the healthcare system? Like doctors, were you going to see a doctor when you were in desperate need and you had all these issues going on? Like, what was the feedback?
I I actually pretty much avoided doctors. I've never
Okay.
been a doctor person. I always would patch myself up. I I I never really had a lot. I figured doctors were for sick people,
Yeah.
and I could fix it myself. And I had in the back of my head, my father um, had contracted polio before the vaccine was invented, and he went through a lot of pain. They with doctors. He said doctors had a lot of good intentions, but he had one bad arm and one bad leg and walked with a limp. And he
Yeah.
was in braces, and they broke bones and things like that. So he he understood they were trying to help him, but he didn't trust doctors. And I think in the deep back of my head that was there. And I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I figure things out. I've always solved problems. I
Mm.
go down the rabbit holes, I research things, figure it out. So I kind of kept that quiet. I didn't tell anybody I had fatty
Yeah.
liver disease.
Mm.
I didn't tell anybody my blood pressure was elevated. I didn't tell anybody that, you know, my A1C, that my testosterone, that I was a mess.
Mm.
I just kind of quietly, like I think a lot of guys do, we just try not to complain. And I kind of suffered in silence.
Mm. And see, that's what I wanted to go over, because this is what's going on in the world at the moment. There's a lot of people that are suffering in silence, and they're running out of options. They don't know what to do. And for yourself, Chris, you were lucky because you were in that powerful position to say, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out myself. I'm going to do a little bit of research, whereas most people won't do that. most people will be in that desperate need, and they'll be like, well, there's nothing I can do here. I'm broken, so I need to go and see my doctor.
Yeah, doctors.
He has
Yes.
my he has my best interest here.
Well,
So
Mhm.
this is what this is how we're trying to change the world. That the body is fully capable of healing itself if you put the right steps in place. But the thing is, the information that we're giving people, apparently, because this is what the experts say, this is going to lead to heart disease.
yeah, and that was one thing, and unfortunately, my mom's health declined. You know, when I was a kid, she I remember we had a small cast iron pan. She would make me a scrambled egg in real butter every morning when I was a little, 5, 6, 7 years old before I got on the school bus, and I felt great.
Mm,
And then things changed where they pushed the grains, they pushed that eventually to the point where my mom went to Smart Balance, which is a
mm,
seed oil spread,
Yeah.
mm.
and was using that for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, you know, we all know how evil seed oils
Yeah.
are,
Detrimental,
Mm,
definitely.
um, and how they cause oxidative stress and destroy your mitochondria and the whole nine.
mm,
Um, that was all, killing me, and I saw her health decline too. I didn't know that at the time. As soon as I discovered that, that went right in the garbage,
mm,
and Kerrygold came in the house.
mm.
Yeah.
And you know, eh, and Mark, you were talking about the whole cholesterol thing. So I'm so bold now, and I can see 3 steps ahead. So when people say, "Well, aren't you worried?" Oh my God, your cholesterol. Aren't you worried about your cholesterol? I said, no, I want my cholesterol to be high.
Absolutely.
I wait for
But
that reaction. I wait for it,
yeah,
wait for it. And when they're like, I go right there. My term is I go right there.
Yes.
Oh, before I
but this,
forget, there,
go
there's a
ahead, sir.
there's a couple of slogans I have. They're kind of my mantra, and I'm going to trademark them. I'll put it out there now. Burgers are food, and steak is medicine.
Yes.
Absolutely,
And the other
absolutely,
one is, well, the other one's more of a cliche, but muscle is life. So I
absolutely.
live by
Yeah.
that.
Love
So
it.
it's
Love it.
100%, and same as well. Nature's medicine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it is. Like, but I want to go back to what you said about the cholesterol, because you mentioned earlier about blood work, that you've been on the carnivore diet now and you're noticing that your triglycerides are going up. But you said something that's very, very interesting, that your blood cells are lasting longer. And
Yes.
this is very, very important,
Mm-hmm.
because we're seeing this in the carnivore space at the moment. Everybody is fixated on a number. So they go and get even Dr. Kiltz
Yeah.
is doing this at the moment himself. They're going to get their blood work done, and they're noticing these numbers going up. And this is what really frustrates me, because I'm pretty sure if I ask these people, I've spoken to Dr. Kiltz about this, so I understand where he's coming from. And I asked him the simple question, like, how do you feel? And he told me, I feel fantastic. Now he went on social media and he said that his triglycerides were high and he was worried about this. When he put that up, the first thing I did was, I'm going to email this guy. I'm going to email this guy and we're going to do a podcast on this. And that's what we did. We spoke about this. And there's fellow carnivores going on about this at the moment as well. They're noticing that their fasting insulin's going up, their triglycerides are going up, and they're panicking. But if you ask them the same question, like when you started carnivore, about the cholesterol, did you have an issue when your cholesterol was risen? I guarantee you most of them would say no. Every one of them would say, no, I don't have an issue with cholesterol, because it's very, very important to the body. So why are we not doing the same when we get these numbers? Because this for me is a lack of education. Because we're
I
focusing on,
agree.
it's the wrong marker. We're focusing on, because when you think about it, we go back to our ancestral living again. We never had these devices. We never
Correct.
Yeah.
had these blood work centers.
Well,
So
it's
why?
based on
It's
misinformation
just based on science. That's all it
and
is.
the
It's just based on
general
science.
carbohydrate eating population.
Yeah.
It's not about carnivores.
No.
It's not about metabolic change.
And like you said, Chris, like you said, you're thriving now. You
Mhm.
are thriving in life now. I'm pretty sure you don't care about these numbers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And to touch on Victoria's point, Dr. Chafee hits on this all the time. When you look at the blood labs and you look at the ranges, they're they're localized to the pool of from that lab,
Exactly.
and which are all sick people, which are
Exactly.
Mhm.
carnivores.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
They're
yes.
not
Exactly.
based on carnivores like we
Exactly.
are.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So those ranges are all out of whack. And um, I'm I'm hoping to be in Dave Feldman's new study. I didn't get my recent blood labs back, but I am I depending upon what you look at the numbers, my last bloods from a year ago put me in the lean mass hyper-responder category. I'm
Yeah. Me too.
right
I'm there too.
borderline.
Hmm.
Right borderline. The labs from 2 years ago, I had one of the numbers was slightly out of that technical range. Um, my most recent one, it depending upon how you look at it, whether your LDL is 200 or not. I'm 190. Previous to that, the last blood lab, I was 206. So like I dropped just a hair. But my HDL was 93 and my trigs were 35.
Yeah.
So even if my trigs went up, like you're saying with Dr. Kiltz, I don't really care.
No.
Because I'm I feel the best I have in my entire life. And
100%. And I
and
and this is something that I just don't understand. If you're feeling great, if you're feeling absolutely fantastic, why would you even go and see a doctor? Like
Yeah.
why?
and
Because
that's the way
he's gonna look at your blood work and he's gonna give you bad news. He's gonna say to you, okay, your cholesterol is high. But if he says your cholesterol is high, you just need to look at your doctor and say, look at me. Look at me. I'm thriving here. Whereas most doctors will be severely overweight. And you're telling me how to be healthy.
Yeah. Exactly true.
You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
incredible. It
yeah.
really is. Like my doctor's overweight. And I haven't seen my doctor in 6 years. But when I look back at it, I'm like, Jesus, I used to go to this guy for regular advice. And I'm like, oh my God, regular advice. I used to this guy. And when I was struggling with my health, because I've been working in this industry a long, long time. And when I was struggling with my health, I was on the verge, literally on the verge of going to see my doctor and being put on antidepressants. Because I tried everything else. I was convinced that it wasn't the diet because I was eating the vegetables. My diet wasn't poor. When I look back at what my diet was a few years ago, I was convinced that the sweet potatoes, the rice, the vegetables, the lean source of the chicken, this was healthy for me. Eating the oats in the morning with the berries, whey protein shakes. I was absolutely convinced it wasn't the diet. But when I was in a really, really bad way, and I had niggles in my shoulders, I had arthritis, I was borderline pre-diabetic, borderline. Nobody could give me the answers. Nobody. Honestly, I was like, I thought I was like everybody else. I was convinced I was broken, convinced.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's.
when my mental health was really, really bad, I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm gonna be one of those people that are gonna be on antidepressants for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
all the allopathic approach. They don't look at diet, which is very sad. They've got to start looking at diet as a first line of prevention.
That's what we need to be looking at because at the end of the day, sickness is a business, whether we like it or not. They're
hmm
feeding off people's sickness, and it's disgusting to see. It really is. I mean, I only did a
Yes.
video. I only did a video today on a guy was talking about red meat causing cancer,
Hmm.
and it just infuriated me, absolutely infuriated me, because as you know, Victoria, I lost two loved ones myself to cancer.
Yes.
To
Yes.
cancer, and Tony, who does the Meat of the Matter podcast. His friend actually lost his life today, and she was
Oh
only
no.
yeah,
Oh,
she lost her life. She was only in her 50s.
Oh my
oh,
God.
Um, and I put this video up today, and TikTok put it down. They took it off straight away.
No
They gave me,
kidding.
they
They
gave,
took
they
it
gave,
down.
they took it,
TikTok did?
yeah, they took it down. They gave me a strike and
I'm-
they gave me a warning.
Oh, for God's sake.
And it's
Wow.
just, it's so frustrating because
Awful.
if I start speaking about the sugar diet or I don't know, something else, it would blow up. It would literally blow up on social media because that's what everybody wants to hear. But when
Yeah.
when you start going against science, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when you're getting shut off, and
Mhm.
it's just not right. I mean, whatever happened to freedom of speech?
Yeah.
True. True.
And that's the thing. And this another reason why I really had this kinship with Dr. Chafee.
Yeah, I was going to
If you
say.
think
He's great.
if you think about it and truly think about the science and what science is never decided. It's always evolving. If once you close your mind and you're no longer open to new theories, then 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 that's it. It's done. So they say, well, when the science is in, no, it's not. It is not. But like you say, because it's backed by big food, big pharma, and well, for a while the government, that seems to be changing a little bit in a positive direction with the food pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about the money. It's all about the money, and right now Ansel Keys is burning in hell
I hope.
for what he did. I know he is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's so integrated into medicine, the medical complex,
Yes.
the schooling, everything. Doctors receive virtually no nutritional education, and they're only taught to prescribe. And there are good ones out there that are changing, a lot of them, but the standard of care puts them at liability for going against the grain.
Yeah. With the
All
insurance
right,
companies too. Yeah.
yeah.
You have to
Honestly,
follow through.
it just
Narrow.
honestly, it just makes me so angry. It really does. I just these conversations just make me so angry because you guys probably see this yourself in hospitals. You see these people they're in desperate need,
Yes.
desperate
Oh,
need,
yeah.
and they're in severe pain. Kind of like your story, Chris, when you were mentioned that you were in a severe pain, and it's
Yes.
like all you want to do is just reach out to these people. You just
Yeah.
want to reach out to them and just say, listen, just listen to me. Just listen to me. Instead of going down this medication route, just eat a steak for the next 3 months.
But
Just do it. Just do it. Don't even
Yeah.
answer me. Just do it. Just trust me. Just do it.
that
But see, that's the problem. People won't do it because they're convinced by the
Yeah.
mainstream media that if you do this, this is what's going to lead to health complications going forward, which is absolute shit, pretty much.
oh yeah,
You know
and
what I mean? So it's just very frustrating.
that's one reason why I was kind of drawn to you too, because I go against the grain. I'm bold. You can't. I know I am more armed than most people, and I have no fear of speaking the truth.
Mm.
And this is a complete grassroots effort. It's been for years. I just wish I discovered it sooner, but I truly believe everything happens for a reason, and our purpose evolves in life. And this is my second calling,
Yeah,
and I'm truly
100%,
passionate about this.
100. And see, this is the
Me
reason
too.
why I do my videos because I'm just sick of the bullshit. Like when you see me on the videos, I come across as this angry person. But if you met me in person, I'm far from that. When I'm doing these videos and I'm doing these call out videos, I have to call out these people because if I don't, these people are getting away with it. They're
Right.
getting away with it. They're speaking to the audience and saying, well, you can still eat the crap in moderation. Carbohydrates are your main source of energy. If you're struggling with your gut issue, add in more fiber. We need to lower our cholesterol. I'm not falling for this anymore. People need to, because I've been in that situation. Chris has been in that situation. Victoria's been in that situation. We know what these foods have done to our bodies. We know what they've done. And
Oh,
this is why when I walk outside the door and I see a poor lady that's younger than me who's struggling and who's severely overweight, and she's trying everything to
Yes.
improve her health. She's doing the medication, she's going to the gym, she's counting her calories, she's putting all this stress on her body. And you can clearly see it in the face. Metabolic stress, she's under enormous stress. And all you want to do, like I mentioned earlier on, is just go over to her and say, listen, you don't need any of this. You really, really don't. You just need to get back to reality. Just regular movement, give your body the food it needs. Look at food as just nutrients. Feed your body the fuel it needs. Don't look at food as entertainment anymore. Move away from all that. All that entertainment stuff that you're eating at the moment, that's what's actually leading to damage.
Yes.
And just get back to our ancestral living. That's it.
100%. And you know, even though it's technically an elimination diet, it is not restrictive. I absolutely love what I eat every day. And one of the reasons why I immediately went all in on carnivore happened to be because I was on that blood type diet. I was the
Mm,
type O, the hunter-gatherer, the red meat, because that diet broke it out into a food that was considered category of highly beneficial, which was um, therapeutic, neutral, and an avoid. And that's where I learned all about lectins, well before Dr. Gundry was out there
Yeah.
with his stuff.
mm,
Hmm.
Um, and it clicked. It instantly clicked. I've always loved red meat. Since a kid, I loved the eggs. I loved the butter. I loved hamburgers. I loved steak.
mm,
And my mom had learned how to cook steak because her mom used to overcook it, but my mom learned how to cook it, and I love steak. I love
mm,
the fat on the steak. You know, I used to, when we went to restaurants on rare occasions, they used to have the little butter pats of butter on the little squares of wax paper, right, and the wax cardboard, and we would have bread and butter, but really the bread was the vehicle for me to get the butter. After a lot of times, I would have my little piece of bread, and then I would take the knife and I would take more butter pats and
mm,
scrape that off and just eat the butter. As a kid, like it
Hmm.
just
That's
knew we
very natural to
mm,
do that. Yeah.
we knew intuitively back
Mhm.
then, but we were brainwashed, and that's what kills me. And I think that's why you and I are, all of us are on the same page, and why this is the true path to
Yeah.
go, and to eliminate the toxins and embrace sunlight, and don't slather that garbage on your skin
The
that's
sunscreen.
toxic.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Victoria, do you want to ask a question?
I do. I want to ask Chris. We hear that the carnivore diet was so attractive to you and was so natural for you, but how would you advise someone who's carnivore curious at this point, listening to this broadcast, and wanting to know what approach would you recommend for the person just starting out looking into this?
all right. Well, the first thing, you need to eliminate seed oils. You got to get them out of your life and transition. Get the garbage out first, and then try to transition. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but if you can,
All right.
I encourage people to eat whole foods. If you go whole foods, even if you
Yes.
have plants in there, keep your plants in there. And I was coaching my friend, and I coach other people. It's okay. You don't have to do what I do. I don't expect you to do that, but make it workable for you. If you can make it workable to stay on track and trend in the right direction, get the seed oils out, and you know, go get all the processed food out, which is loaded with seed oils, single ingredient foods. Try to, if you want to keep vegetables in, go to lower glycemic, low carb vegetables. Get the potatoes out, get the rice out, and get the sweet potatoes out, and gear yourself towards, and stay away from the oxalates. The
Mm,
oxalates were killing you with the
mm,
spinach,
mm,
and I also happen to love chocolate. And I kept the coffee in because there was a little bit of oxalate, so my dumping wasn't so bad. I had some oxalate dumping, but that wasn't too terrible. But if you can focus on getting the junk out and transitioning and just getting more meat in, and don't be afraid of the fat. Don't be the fat, I was high fat, which helped me heal. Don't be afraid of the fat. And
Great,
in
great
a
advice.
nutshell, that's what I tell people. You know, if
Great
you got to put
advice.
something in that's not optimal, just try to work on that.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is because we always talk about sugar and how powerful sugar is, but I would argue seed oil is just as bad
Yeah.
because
Oh, definitely has that
it
impact.
lasts a lot longer in the body.
Mhm.
Well, for cravings, I suggest people, I use slices of the Kerrygold. Take a thin slice of butter and let it melt on your tongue.
Mm.
And man, sometimes I'll do that while I'm cooking because I have true hunger. Sometimes I'm OMAD, sometimes I'm too mad based upon what's going on. And that will immediately, almost therapeutically, just ease that craving until I can get everything cooked and then I eat.
Super, super. Where can people go to find you, Chris?
So the best way is if Chris _Carnivore SW, which stands for the newer term street workout, which is calisthenics. A
Mhm.
lot of the younger generations gear towards that. That's the best way to find me.
Super. Have you got anything on YouTube or are you just on social media, Instagram?
I haven't put anything on my YouTube channel. That screen name, if you find me on Dr. Anthony Chafee, is Chris _Carnivore _calisthenics. Because that's a
Super.
little more mature audience. They'll know what that is. Instagram is really where I'm focusing on right now to try to blend the two communities. And I just find that the shorter videos are the way to go. Really I was really encouraged by the person I'm coaching to get out there on YouTube originally and talk. He liked the way I talked about things, and I was a little shy about that. I used to be very shy, but carnivore, not so much anymore. I'm bold,
Mm.
but I just like the way of. I just found Instagram really drawing me towards that platform. So I'm trying to stick with that.
Good man. Good man.
Wonderful.
You're making a difference, Chris. So keep it going.
Yes. Very
I,
inspiring. Thank you so much for joining us and for the work you're doing now. That's excellent. I'm very,
Thank you
very
for
happy to
having me.
hear it. Okay, then. Thank you, guys.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.